is your homeschool journey going? And what are some tips that you use to stay motivated during the long weeks? These are all questions and thoughts that I have been floating through my head over the past few weeks as we have been on break and have had a slow, enjoyable end of our holidays and birthday wrap up for our family. As many of you know, we don't do school during the holidays and we had some traveling. So January we will be getting back into it, but stay tuned because there's a video coming out. We have a little twist for January, and today is New Year's Eve, so we are jumping back into it. So happy New Year's, everybody. And today I am going to share with you what our 12 weeks of school has been like as an update. What are our wins, our misses, our challenges, and some of our achievements have been, as well as what's working, what's not. And then later on in the video, I will break it up into individual grade levels to kind of make it a little easier. So jumping in, what are our wins and our progress? I would say our win so far with our new homeschool schedule this year has been having our Friday free flex day. That has been our total win this year. Our Fridays have usually consisted of no school, and we use it for field trips. But if there is no field trip planned for that Friday, we do use it as a catch-up day to prepare for the upcoming sick days that are inevitably probably coming to our family. Me, Mom, it's been the energy, keeping the energy up, keeping the rhythm going. That has been my biggest thing of trying to find energies. I'm not a morning person, so going through those motions has been difficult. And the early afternoon, I kind of hit that lull where my energy's drained right before dinner time. So keeping up with the energy has been my biggest challenge as a mom. I would say for my kiddos, the biggest challenge has been keeping the motivation, keeping the school is not a punishment. School is something that every child does in some form or another. It is not an optional activity. School is school, and everybody does it and it might look different for everybody, but we do school in our house. And I would say the reading, encouraging kids to enjoy reading and pick a book that it's at their appropriate reading level, that they are learning skills that they need and they are enjoying. So that I would say has been a challenge for my first grader and kindergartner. Is the letters and the reading has been a challenge, but it's also been a main focus that I've really tried to use to develop our phonics and our language usage to kind of nail that home, is just to focus on reading books at their appropriate levels. Moving into curriculum, I would say that it has been overall working. If you're not familiar with what we use mostly the good and the beautiful for language arts and math. That has been working. I think math is pretty spot on. My fifth grader has struggled a little bit with the math. But for my kindergarten and first grader, they're loving it and it's spot on. I think language arts for the good and the beautiful is a little challenging for my crew. It's not too hard, but it does have a little bit of a challenge. I think it's very fast-paced and learning new topics because they have a spiral approach and not a mastery approach. So I just think that that's a little bit of the difference. But it's been working. We love the good and the beautiful. Our science has been wonderful. We did not do that during the holidays, and we have been using the beautiful feet. It's been awesome. My kids' favorite thing this year is our science. That is hands-on out in the nature. So totally has been a win. History, we have been using the beautiful feet, and it's been good. I cannot complain. There's a lot of reading involved, so Depending on your family's style, it will or will not work for you. History is probably one of the first things that maybe doesn't get done, but we also have a ton of history field trips built into our school year. We've already completed a lot of them. And so I feel that if something is skipped, we are getting also additional history during the field trip. So that is something that I don't feel like is being skipped on by any means, but they have enjoyed it, and it has been working to read them their history books while they are eating lunch. So that has been a really good plan that has worked for us. And sometimes in the car, we put on Story of the World. We have one of their audio CDs. So that also works while we are in the car going places, because everywhere seems to take us 30, 45 minutes. So it is it's just an awesome fit for our family. So curriculum, all thumbs up, no complaints. And it's just been an easy, great year so far. Let's see. Some of our extras, I would say, diving into field trips. We hit off the school year really strong in our cohort with a field trip almost every week. We did the governor's mansion. We did our state capitol. We did a war memorial. We went to a battlefield from the Civil War. We have done a whole bunch of different things. And this year has been, I think, mostly history. So that is sort of the feel that we're sticking to history. Moving forward for the rest of the year, switching it up a little bit, we will be doing a lot of local history because we live in a state where it is full of history since the United States first came from England, and everybody started coming in and occupying the land. So we just live in an area where it's full of history. So we are really just going to focus on United States history while we are still in the United States. And I feel that that is important for my kids to learn and be able to appreciate as we take that with us wherever we end up. So breaking it down now into grade levels. I'm going to start with my 5th and work my way down to the youngest. So for my 5th grader, I would say the hardest struggle that she has had is math. It's just getting hard. Math is not my strong suit, and her math, I mean, with the exponents and the powers and fractions and all these things that I know I struggle with during school, I see that it is a little bit way more of a challenge. And so fortunately, my husband is able to come home during the work days. So if it's something that she's really struggling with and mom can't help, sometimes we go to YouTube for some learning videos on how to break it down if what I'm saying doesn't work. But The Good and the Beautiful does an excellent job providing a new lesson. You can either read through it or you can do a video lesson that they have made for you to kind of a visual learner, or you can put them both together. So The Good and the Beautiful has done a wonderful job giving you 2 options of how you can learn your lesson. We do backup YouTube videos if we need extra. Mom helps as much as I can, and if need be, we wait until dad comes home and she finishes the lesson either during the day when dad stops by and has a few minutes, or at the end of the day after dinner. Sometimes she asks dad some questions, so we are blessed to have a good math teacher called Dad. So that has been definitely her hardest struggle, is learning some of these harder concepts in math. I would say that she's really doing most of everything on her own, and she loves to share what she's learning. So even though she's doing it on her own, it's a constant, hey mom, did you know? Hey mom, look at this cool fact. Hey mom, can you do this? And it's a constant excitement to share what she's learning, and her communicating that with me is really cool to be able to know her interest and that she's communicating well, and we can use that to kind of dig a little deeper into certain things after school hours. So that's been cool. We read Anne Frank, the abridged version for the young readers. That was our family read aloud because we just went to Amsterdam last month, and we also, actually it was almost 2 months ago, month and a half, for Thanksgiving. We were in Amsterdam and we went to Denmark, so we did read Anne Frank as a family read aloud. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. It's, obviously diary style because it's her diary that her dad made public after the invasion, and they were all liberated. But It was hands down an awesome addition to our school. Not only was it my daughter's, in her words, her favorite book we've ever read together. It was such an enlightening to hear from somebody that lived through such a tragic time in history, their own words as they were going through it. It put a lot of humbling and realization as to how good we have it right now in our world and where we currently live. It was eye-opening for my children to be able to know what's happened in the past in history, that it's important to know hard things so that when we move forward, we don't repeat the same mistakes in history. So it was just some parts were hard in the book to talk through with younger kids, but it was a needed history lesson that my kids ate up and they begged me to read more of than we were even scheduled to read. And we finished it by the skin of our teeth. We left for the trip the day after we finished the book. So that was our favorite read aloud so far. And I would say my 5th grader hands down loves our science. It's just a hit. It's hands-on. It's forcing me to do things that I don't like to do. I don't like watercolor. I don't like science experiments. Sometimes I don't want to leave the house, and it has caused me to get out of my shell and to enjoy seeing what my kids love. Okay, moving into my 1st grader. I would say she's really starting to read. Kindergarten was a struggle for her for reading. 1st grade, I'm really seeing dots connect of some of the concepts that we worked through, some of the vowels, some of the letter blends really coming together, and she is really starting to read and putting some of the phonetic rules that we've been practicing and learning. I would say she's able to sit for much longer time periods while we're doing read alouds and doing school. I'm seeing her attention span grow a little bit more this year. She loves math. That's her favorite subject. She's very good with numbers. And I would say that the Good and the Beautiful is right on track for her math of I feel where she needs to be. Let's see, the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts for my 1st grader is a little harder. It's a little more fast-paced, but the phonics cards that we failed to use last year, that we are actually using correctly this year, is a game changer, because I'm seeing that if they're not on the right phonics cards, it doesn't really matter what lesson that they're on in the book, in our workbook, because they don't mesh up. And then the leveled readers that they're supposed to be reading is in connection with the phonics cards and your lesson for the day. So the phonics cards really are just like extra practice, almost like a mastery, I feel like, making sure we're practicing what the lesson is we're learning. And so that has been a game changer, and you need to use your phonics cards with the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts, in my opinion, to actually grasp the concept and learn it from a whole circular approach instead of missing steps like I did last year. So that has been great. And I learned that from a person that commented on one of my YouTube videos last year. So thank you if you are watching. We all learn from each other. So moving on to the kindergartner. I would say he is starting to read. We are not doing the Good and the Beautiful language books. We do them some, but our main focus right now is the Bob's books, because they are a lot shorter and a lot less stressful, the Bob's books, than the Good and the Beautiful. We do them, but I am more focused on him doing the Bob's because they're just easier than, it's just what he needs right now. So that's what we are focusing on. I would say the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts for my kindergartner is a little fast-paced, but he's doing very well. He's doing very well, and he is getting it, but, you know, practice. And during the holidays, it is hard to get that practice in. Math is a little harder for him, but he loves the hands-on activities, like when he gets to do little race cars and the games. He really likes that, and it really keeps him engaged. And that is truly half of the struggle in math, is that if he knows that there's a game for that math lesson, there's a lot less fight and a lot less struggle to get him to sit down at the table. When he knows that he gets to pick his car or do a game with mommy, he knows that it's something exciting and fun and new, and it just eliminates some of the battle to get him excited to want to do school sometimes. Our preschooler is in love with puzzles. That has been the win this year. Puzzles, and more puzzles. She loves puzzles. That gets her excited. It keeps her busy, and her brain is just thinking. She likes it. We use the toddler busy book. It's the big red binder. I know I've shown you in some of the videos. She likes it. It just has all the Velcro activities. It's engaging. She really likes those. My Father's World is the technically curriculum that we're using. It's a light term. She's a preschooler. We don't do a rigorous curriculum. As long as she's doing Velcro activities and puzzles, I think she's learning her colors with My Father's World. That's basically numbers and colors is all we're doing this year. We've done the color red, we've done the color black, and we have made Play-Doh of both of those colors. She loved that. She loves to do the color hunts. They have color hunts to learn the colors. You have to go around and find the little colors that we've cut out, and we do it in the living room. She loves to do that with her older siblings. So it also, when I need to work with another older child, one-on-one, the other child might go and do a color hunt with the preschooler in the other room to help eliminate some of the distractions, and everybody's having fun. So that's been a great way for older sisters to show that they are growing, that they are learning, and to have some one-on-one time with their little sibling, and to really just step in and help out, and it has been wonderful. I will say, My Father's World Preschool, I do not do it every single day. I love the hands-on activities, but sometimes it feels monotonous reading the same books for 3 weeks. So maybe we only do like a week and a half of one, and we do it at a faster pace. I really should do it every day, but I have not been great on doing it every day. Sometimes we don't do it every day, and she just does puzzles. So we are just going with how it goes. We do use it, but not every single day. I would say altogether ending takeaways. I would say there's so much improvement in our phonics area, and reading comprehension has skyrocketed this year from how we ended last year. And I can really just see certain skills just clicking. I would say history has been best done for us at lunch. Science is best done after lunch and in the afternoons because it's the most fun. So we try to end the school day with the fun, more lighthearted stuff and get some of the harder, more serious subjects done. So that's math and language arts in the mornings. I would say that science, while it is the most fun for my kids, it does require a little bit of prepping. It's not something that you can just kind of wing it. There's a little bit of prepping involved, and sometimes a lot of energy from mom's view. So I would say this is not for tired moms, but we're all tired moms. So you just grin and bear it sometimes, and sometimes it's okay to say, no, we're not doing it today. So you just got to know what is right for you and your family, and sometimes even though the kids want to do it and you feel that you should, if you're in a bad mood or you're just exhausted or something else needs to get done, it's not worth the battle and the hassle of doing it. Just skip it for that day and we can make it up a different day. But we've done pretty good on our science, but it is definitely planning and hands-on activity involved. So it takes some patience and some determination, and some accountability is also required in keeping up with the science. I would say that once Christmas break holiday rolled around and Thanksgiving and our trip, we were really ready for it. We did no school when we came back. We skipped the week because everybody was kind of fighting off some stomach bugs, and we just rolled into birthdays and Christmas break, and now we're rolling into the New Year's. So we will be starting school off again. And again, please like and subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned for the next video of our update of what our January is going to look like. We have a curveball being thrown in, and I think it's exciting. So stay tuned. Bye.